Hi, we're here with Peter and Guru, and we're talking today about ON.Lab, ONOS, Transport SDN, and how Huawei fits into the whole scheme. Start with you, Peter. Can you tell us about what's all the buzz about Transport SDN, and how is ONOS a part of that?
Transport SDN is part of Huawei's Softcom solution. And Softcom is really about the integration of the IT technologies and the CT technologies. It's the bringing of all of the wonderful technologies that are coming from, for example, cloud computing, from SDN and NFV, merging them all together and taking advantage of the best bits and pieces of those IT technologies and bringing them to, well, you know, the somewhat stodgy transport world and giving it a big boost. What can we do with these wonderful new technologies? Transport SDN essentially allows us to address many of our customers' primary concerns, to be able to get extremely fast agility in how we create connections, to be able to add new services very rapidly to our customers' networks, and generally to provide this very rapid response to what our customers demand for their new services. In order to do this, we need the logical centralization. When you have a bird's eye view of a network, you can do much more. ONOS, of course, provides that bird's eye view of the network and provides a very carrier grade and a very open way to view the network, interact with the network, see the changes that are happening, and more importantly, to be able to grow and shrink this sort of logically centralized compute platform, I guess is what we would call it. So for this platform is ideal for us to launch applications which will address our customers' future needs. ONOS is a major part of that. We're happy to be a contributor and a player, not only to be getting ONOS code, but also to be contributing ONOS code back. That's the broad view of it, and then of course there are many interesting applications we can talk about, and I'd be happy to talk about some of those specific applications if you like.
Let me bring Guru in for a minute here. So, you know, ON.Lab, ONOS, another acronym, another standards body around SDN. Maybe talk a little bit about the role of ONOS and what makes you unique and really needed as a standards group within the realm of SDN.
Okay, so again, let me tell you a little bit about Open Networking Lab first, ON.Lab. So ON.Lab came out of Stanford and Berkeley, where we first invented SDN. And the goal of Open Networking Lab is to build open source SDN platforms and tools that for the service provider industry. So we realized that as networking was going to become more and more software defined, we believe that open source is going to play a much bigger role in the networking industry as well. And we wanted to build open source platforms for the industry so industry can build on top of it and accelerate SDN adoption in service provider network. So that was the goal of ON.Lab. Now when it comes to ONOS, ONOS is one of our first platforms that we built as a scalable, highly available, high performance SDN operating system for the service provider space. And it is built not by ON.Lab per se, it is built in a partnership. So there are key service providers like AT&T, NTT Communication, SK Telecom that are part of the partnership, in addition to the vendors like Huawei and a number of other vendors. And so together we have built this platform that we believe will help service providers bring SDN to their environment.
So we have Transport SDN, which of course is historically been very focused on the optical layers. I'm also hearing a lot about IP and optical integration. Historically, it's been a strong IP plus optical has been a big initiative for Huawei. What's the importance of IP and optical integration, and then how is SDN enabling it or benefiting from that? And then if you could tie that even into the role of how ONOS fits there as well.
In fact, maybe I'll start by tying it into ONOS, because actually one of the first demonstrations that ONOS did was an integrated IP optical solution. Now, for us, and for the industry as a whole, transport networks and IP networks have been managed separately for forever, still are. If you manage two things separately, you're missing out on optimizations, on things that you could save, areas that you could do better. And so, quite simply, the easiest way to think about it is by managing the two as one, I have a lot of new advantages that I didn't have before. For example, just bandwidth. I mean, if I manage the optical network and the IP network together, I can actually save bandwidth. I can move things around more efficiently. I can create connectivity for the IP layer automatically. And in terms of the physical hardware, I can actually save money in terms of the routers. The routers, the most expensive part of an IP network are those big 100 gig cards. They're very expensive. If we can get rid of a percentage of those cards, we can affect the cost of the IP network. A dynamic transport network underneath allows us to do that. And some of our estimates have shown about a 40% cost reduction to the router network by just having a more agile transport network underneath, which is integrated into the control of the IP network. And ONOS is a major component to that. We can't do this without something like ONOS.
Guru, Peter, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very much.
appreciate it.
Pleased to be here.